The sun was just breaking over the open fields when I saw the white SUV pull up to my gate. I thought maybe it was a neighbor, maybe someone coming to welcome me to the ranch I just bought last month. But when the woman stepped out, heels sinking into the dirt, I realized I was dead wrong. She was dressed in bright red, hair puffed up, like she was heading to a TV interview, and she had a clipboard clutched to her chest, like it was a weapon. She didn't even say hello. "You owe $88,000, she snapped, pointing at my house like it personally offended her. I frowned, wiping the sweat from my neck. "For what?" I asked. "Back HOA dues," she said, spelling it out like I was too dumb to understand. "You've been living here under our rules without paying your share." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Ma'am, this is private land. I bought it from Mr. Jennings. There's no HOA out here." Her smile was tight, fake. "Oh, there's always an HOA," she said. "You just don't know about it yet." Behind her, a black car rolled up. Two men stepped out wearing what looked like uniforms, badges glinting in the morning sun. My stomach turned. "Those cops?" I asked. She tilted her head. "Security enforcement," she said softly. "They handle people who don't follow community policy." I looked at the wide open land around me. My fence, my barn, my cattle grazing in peace. Everything I'd worked for. And now this woman, who I'd never seen before, was acting like she owned it all. Something in her eyes told me she wasn't bluffing. "Still," I said calmly, "if you think I owe you money, show me the papers." "Oh, you'll get them," she said with a smirk, "but you won't like what they say." Then she turned to her so-called officers and said one word that made the air freeze around us. "Seize it." I didn't move at first. The words didn't even register until I saw one of the men walk toward my truck, hand resting on his belt, like he was about to draw something. My chest tightened. "Hey, you can't touch that," I said, stepping forward. The woman, Karen, that's what she looked like, just folded her arms and smiled. "Sir, you're in violation of Community Code 14B. You've been occupying HOA-managed property without fulfilling payment obligations. These vehicles are now under lien." Her voice had that calm, plastic tone that made my blood boil. "Lady, there's no HOA here. This is county land. I checked the deed myself." She looked at me like I'd just told her the sky was purple. "Oh, you poor man," she said with fake pity. "You really think a little paperwork from some auction site makes you the owner?" I took a step closer. "It's a federal land transfer, signed by the county clerk. I have proof inside." "Don't bother," she said quickly. "My team already reviewed it." "Your team?" I repeated. "Who are you?" That's when she flashed a badge. Not a real one. At least, not one I recognized. It said HOA Enforcement Division. Behind her, one of the men opened my truck door and started checking inside. "Stop!" I yelled, moving toward him. But the other guy stepped in front of me, hand now fully gripping what looked like a stun baton. Karen smiled wider. "You see, Mr. Walker, this could have been simple. You pay, we move on. But now you're resisting a legal inspection." I clenched my fists. "You have no legal anything. You're trespassing." She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "Then call the cops." I almost laughed. "That's what I'm about to do." She tilted her head slightly, her smile never fading. "Good. Let's see which cops show up first, yours or mine." For a second, I froze. Her tone wasn't bluffing. It was a warning. And that's when I noticed something I hadn't before. The men's cars didn't have license plates. A cold feeling crept through me. This wasn't some neighborhood dispute. This was something else entirely. Inside the house, my phone started ringing. But before I could move toward it, one of the fake officers lifted his radio and said, "Ma'am, he's getting agitated. Should we proceed with property hold?" Karen didn't look away from me. "Do it." Before I could say another word, the man yanked open the back door of my truck and started tossing my tools onto the ground. Metal clattered against the dirt. Wrench, hammer, socket kit, all hitting like punches to my gut. Karen stood with her arms crossed, watching, amused. "Consider this collateral," she said. "Collateral for what?" I shouted. "You have no right. None of this is legal." Her eyes flashed. That's what people always say before they learn the hard way. The sound of engines broke through the argument. 2 police cruisers pulled up fast, dust trailing behind them. For a moment, relief washed over me. Finally, real law enforcement. But Karen didn't even flinch. She turned, calm as ever. "Perfect timing," she muttered. The officers stepped out, hands resting near their holsters. One of them, a tall man with gray hair, looked from me to Karen. "Everything all right here?" Karen instantly switched tones, her voice sweet and trembling. "Officer, thank God you're here. This man's been threatening my team and refusing to vacate HOA property. We were just trying to handle it peacefully." I couldn't believe it. "What? That's a lie. They broke onto my land, went through my truck." "Sir, calm down," the officer interrupted, holding up his hand. "We'll sort this out." Karen gave a tiny, fake sob. "Please, I just want to make sure no one gets hurt. He's been very aggressive." I stared at her in disbelief. She was playing them perfectly. Tears, trembling voice, all of it. The gray-haired cop turned back to me. "You got proof this land's yours?" "Yeah, inside. Deeds in my office." Karen jumped in fast. "Oh, that's not necessary. We already have documentation from the county." "Then show it," I snapped. She smiled. "Of course." She handed the officer a thick folder, crisp, professional, full of stamps and seals. My heart sank as he flipped through it, his brows furrowing like it actually looked legitimate. "Where did you get that?" I asked slowly. Karen looked me straight in the eye. "From the county registrar's office. You'd be amazed what money can fix." The officer glanced at me again, his expression unreadable. "Sir, until we verify ownership, I'm gonna have to ask you to stay put." I felt the ground tilt under me. "You're detaining me on my own land?" Karen smirked, whispering just loud enough for me to hear. "Welcome to the neighborhood." My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear what the officer said next. Everything around me blurred for a second. The sun glaring off my truck window, the fake cops smirking by the fence, Karen pretending to wipe her fake tears. I took a deep breath. I'd been through worse. Way worse. "Officer," I said slowly, keeping my voice even, "if you'll let me grab my deed, this will be cleared up in 2 minutes." The gray-haired cop gave a small nod. "Go ahead, but no sudden moves." I walked toward the house, every muscle in my back tense. Inside, I went straight to the desk drawer where I'd locked everything. Title papers, sale receipt, even the county's notarized transfer form. All signed. All legal. But when I opened the drawer, my blood ran cold. It was empty. Every single document was gone. I froze, staring into the drawer like it might explain itself. Then I noticed something else. My security system's DVR was missing too. The entire box that recorded my cameras was ripped right out. My stomach dropped. Someone had been inside. I turned back toward the door, fury building in my chest. When I stepped outside, Karen was standing right there, waiting. like she knew exactly what I'd just discovered. "Lose something?" she asked, her voice dripping with smug sweetness. I clenched my fists. "You broke into my house." "Correction," she said, tapping her clipboard. "We executed a community compliance inspection. That's a felony. Only if you can prove it." Before I could respond, another car pulled up. This one, sleek, black, and official-looking. A man stepped out in a clean suit, sunglasses on, holding a folder under his arm. Karen straightened immediately. "Ah, Mr. Dalton," she said, her tone suddenly respectful. "Glad you could make it." Dalton? The name hit me hard. I'd heard it before, back when I worked federal logistics, years ago. The man looked straight at me, then at the officers. "This the one?" he asked. Karen nodded. "Yes, sir. He's refusing to vacate." Dalton sighed. "Shame. After everything this land's been through." "What's that supposed to mean?" I demanded. He turned toward me, smiling slightly. "You bought property that's not what you think it is, Mr. Walker. Let's just say, it used to belong to someone with higher clearance than you'll ever have." Something about the way he said it, the certainty, the arrogance, made every instinct in me flare. I'd been in the military long enough to recognize coded threats. This wasn't about HOA dues. This was about something buried deep in this land. And I was standing right on top of it.